Many years ago, after the standard 10th results had been declared, I went to visit some friends of mine who had their daughter who had appeared for the examination. From what I knew, she was a very intelligent girl, and I was confident that she would have done exceedingly well. As soon as I entered the home, the mother said to me, "Father, you must talk to this girl and put some sense into her. She has let us down. What did my husband and I not do to encourage her? I stayed home from work. I cooked her the best of meals. She never did a stitch of work in the house, and now she has let us down." With the mother talking like this, I assumed that the girl had failed. And so I said to the mother, "Success and failure are two sides of the same coin. It does not appear if she has failed, she can appear again." The mother said, "What failed, Father? She has passed." I was taken aback. I said, "What did you say?" "Yeah, she has passed." And then I said, "But what is the problem?" Then I once again assumed that maybe the girl had got a very low percentage, and I said to the mother, "Even if she has a low percentage now, she can take a faculty that she is interested in, and I'm sure she will do well, because there are some students who might not like this or that subject, and therefore you don't need to take it once you finish school. You can take the faculty which you think you are good at. So therefore, she can get into a college now, and I'm sure she will do well." The mother said, "What just passed, Father? She has got 90%. I was stunned. I could not believe my ears. So I asked the mother once again, "What did you say?" And the mother said to me, "She has passed and she got 90%. I said, "Then what is the problem? Why are you so upset?" The mother said to me, "The neighbor's daughter got 91.5. The story is not over. I made the mother sit down, and I said to the mother, "If your neighbor's daughter had got 70%, which is much less than 90, and your daughter had got 71%, which is much less than 90, would you be happy?" And the mother said, "I would be very happy, because I wanted her to get more than my neighbor's daughter." In the gospel text of today, we will hear about a man who has no ego. A man who has no need to compare himself with anyone, because the man knows exactly who he is and what his mission in life is. And that man is John the Baptist. John the Baptist was very clear that when he came into the wilderness, he had one role. He had one job, he had one vocation, and it was to point to Jesus and to decrease when Jesus increased. To go into the background when Jesus went into the foreground. John had no ego, he had no I. John was very aware of himself, he was confident in himself, and he was secure in himself. He never needed to compare. In the gospel text of today, he sees Jesus passing by. And even as he sees Jesus passing by, he identifies Jesus by using 4 titles for Jesus. And why 4? Why not 1? Because Jesus cannot be contained with 1, nor that Jesus can be contained with 4. But John wants to explain to those who are listening to him that the one who comes now is much, much greater than him, and John does not mind. Because he is secure in himself, he knows where his authority ends, he knows what he has to do, he knows what his own vocation is. And so as Jesus passes by, the first of the 4 titles John uses is, "This is the Lamb of God." And this title is the first of the 4 because it is the most significant, it is the most important, it is primary to the vocation of Jesus. And the reason where John the Baptist identifies Jesus as the Lamb of God is because he knows that Jesus is going to be the Paschal Lamb. Jesus is going to be the lamb that is led to the slaughter. Jesus is going to be that lamb which will be slain for the salvation of the whole world. And that is why John identified Jesus with the first title to Jesus, the Lamb of God. The second title John uses is that Jesus is the pre-existent one. He existed much before him. He existed already with the Father. At the beginning of his gospel, the evangelist tells us that in the beginning was the Word, which is Jesus, and this Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Baptist is aware that this Jesus, even though he comes after him in time chronologically, existed before him in the heavens with his Father. So Jesus is the Lamb of God. Jesus is the pre-existent one, and Jesus is the carrier or the vehicle of the Spirit. Jesus has the Spirit in him. Jesus carries the Spirit with him, and Jesus communicates the Spirit of God to whoever is open. And so, as the communicator of the Spirit of God, Jesus is the communicator of openness, of freedom, of inclusiveness, and of love. And the final title which John uses to identify Jesus is that Jesus is the Son of God. And there is something beautiful about the first and the 4th titles which we must take for our reflection. In the first title, John the Baptist says that Jesus is the Lamb of God, the Lamb that is led to the slaughter. In the last title, he identifies the same Jesus as Son of God. How can the Lamb that is led to the slaughter be the Son of God? Is not God beyond death? Is not God beyond suffering? Is not God beyond pain? Yes, God is beyond all of that. But as the first reading from Isaiah tells us, that the Lord will send his Son as not only a human being, but as a light to the nations, as an inspiration to all, that even though he had the privilege of being Son of God, even though he had the privilege of being God's only Son, he will go through the cross, he will become the lamb that is led to the slaughter, he will become the lamb that is slain, only in order to show us the way to be that light for each one of us. On this second Sunday, in ordinary time, Jesus continues to be that inspiration which every one of us can draw from. He had this privilege of royalty. He had the privilege of sonship. He had the privilege of kingship, and yet he gave it all up to become the Lamb of God. If we are to imitate Jesus, if we are to be inspired by him, we cannot do so only by looking at him. We must do so by becoming like him in every way. Every one of us has our own privileges. Every one of us has our own authority. But if we can give up that privilege, if we can give up that authority for service and for love, then we will have identified with Jesus, and like John the Baptist, we too can say that Jesus is the Lamb, and becoming the Lamb, he becomes Son.